doing here? Stupid. Welcome to the Backlog. We're two brothers who have a big collection of games, and we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about them.
Every game we've ever bought, we put into an Excel spreadsheet that we use for cataloging our big-ass collection of games. And today, we're going to pick one at random and talk about it, regardless of whether or not we've played it.
We are here at the Video Game Trading Post in Long Island, New York.
Yes, the best retro gaming store on Long Island. If you find yourself in the Nassau County area and you need a retro game accessory, or a retro console itself, this is the place to be. Come here.
Well, I promise I'm not doing this on purpose, but at $2.59.
$2.59.
It's going to be another Switch game.
It is another Switch game. It is Arcade Archives versus Super Mario Brothers.
Crap.
For the
Okay.
Switch.
All right. So, Super Mario Brothers, the original Super Mario Brothers.
Yes.
One of, if not my favorite game of all time.
Yes.
The only game that might surpass it is Mario Maker.
Wow.
For me.
Yeah.
However,
Yes.
Arcade Archives versus Super Mario Brothers might be the worst port of this game ever.
Well, we need to back up for a second.
Back it up.
Because there's Super Mario Brothers.
Yes.
The game we all know and love.
Yes.
But then there's versus Super Mario Brothers.
Which is already not a good port.
It's I don't know if I would consider it a port. It's a completely different game. It's an arcade version of Super Mario Brothers that's specifically designed to be a lot harder.
Okay, so it's good. As an arcade game, it's a good arcade game.
Yes.
Because when I go to the arcade and I see a versus Super Mario Brothers, I run to that.
Yeah.
Because I love Super Mario Brothers.
Right.
And it plays just like Super Mario Brothers. But once you get into it, there's like little differences that make the game like way harder. Like they'll just throw in a pit where there wasn't one before, and my muscle memory just can't handle that.
Yeah.
There's only a World 6 warp pipe in the second row of warp pipes, whereas usually 6, 7, and 8, it's just 6. Mm-hmm. So you can't warp that far because they want your quarters. Mm-hmm. And then once you get to World 6, the game gets way harder than it usually is. It's already a harder version of Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
The Arcade Archives ports on the Switch are like awful. The only thing they have to do is give you a menu system. That's the only thing that a port onto a console from an arcade game, it's the only thing it needs to do is give you a way to put a coin in, to play the frickin' game, to start the game, and the menu system's like broken. So that's it, the port is useless already.
So then how do you virtually insert coins and press play?
I think Start puts a coin in.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Also, another huge just no is the A and B are A and B on the controller.
Oh.
So it's tilted wrong.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, you want it to be Y and B.
Yeah, I hate that.
Was that X and no, it's Y and B.
Yeah,
you
no,
want it to be Y
this
and
is
B.
like a problem I have with whenever they port over.
You can change it in the settings.
Okay, that's good.
But then you have to go through the crappy menu system.
Yeah.
And the menu system is garbage.
I always hate that because like whenever they try to port like NES games to like later systems with like the cross-shaped button layout, or even like 8-Bit Do did this with like their NES controller that they have out that has 4 buttons, and like it's not laid out like flat like it is on the NES. It's laid out in like a T shape. Mm-hmm. And that screws me up when I try to play NES games on anything
that's
other
how
than
the
NES
SNES
controllers.
is.
Yeah, and it screws me up then too. Like playing Super Mario All-Stars is a completely different experience for me. Because like I'm used to just going across for A and B instead of like stretching around.
I'm cool with where it is on the Super Nintendo if it's the same controls as Super Mario World, because Super Mario World does it fine.
Right.
Where it's Y and B.
Right.
Y is run and B is jump.
But not every game does that.
Not every game does that, and people like Arcade Archives are like, oh, we'll just do it like it is on the NES, and they're wrong. But again, you could change it, but it's a pain in the ass because you gotta go through the crappy menu system. Also, completely off topic, but a lot of games do this thing where the selecting in the menu system is different than selecting in the game. Like, for example, Mega Man X Legacy Collection.
Yeah.
The menus select is B, but in the game select is A. So everything's weird.
Yeah.
And then if you hit B, you go back and you're like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah.
So Arcade Archives does the same thing.
That sucks.
It's an absolute disaster. It also runs weird.
Yeah.
There's input lag.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably the worst part about it.
Yeah.
Is input lag on my Mario game.
Yeah, that ruins it right there.
How hard is it?
Yeah.
How hard is it to
okay.
not give you input lag on a freaking NES game?
The weirdest
or
thing about
MAME game?
this game is that this is not technically made by Nintendo. This is made by
Yes.
Hamster Inc., Hamster Company, as part of their Arcade Archives collection. Because they've done versus Super Mario Brothers. I think they're doing Donkey Kong, a couple other Nintendo games. But they also did all the Neo Geo games that are currently on Switch. They've done a couple of other games that are on PS4. So like this is a completely separate company handling Nintendo's property. The fact that Nintendo is doing that like they're not doing it themselves, is baffling to me.
It also was for a long time the top-selling eShop game.
I think because everybody thought it was regular Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw articles that were talking about how I saw one that said it was in like the top list of top Switch
Yeah.
games, and I was like, just regular old Super Mario Brothers. If you've played it, you know it. It's like, no, you've never played this game before. This is not regular old Super Mario Brothers.
No, I saw another article that said this is the meanest trick Nintendo's ever pulled on anybody.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And it's not Nintendo's fault.
Yeah.
Well, it's Nintendo's fault.
It
They
is
gave Hamster
No, it is
Co.
Nintendo's fault. This whole thing is Nintendo's fault. They should have released regular Super Mario Brothers. If they wanted to release the arcade version, they should have done that, but made it specifically clear that this is not the same game. Stop making fun of me.
Hopefully, in the next few weeks,
Yeah.
when they release Switch Online.
Yeah, at the time of this recording, Switch Online is supposed to come out like in the next few weeks.
Yeah, and we'll get regular old Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it runs great.
Uh-huh.
There'll be online multiplayer, which
Yes.
is cool. Oh no, it's Bob from the future. Not much has changed here except I dress formally now and the robot eye. But anyway, they did come out with Switch Online, and you can play Super Mario Brothers. And guess what, Will? The control scheme is not your favorite. It defaults to B and A. You can remap it to X and A, which is fine, but Y and B would have been more preferred. I will say the NES Classic games that come with Switch Online are all gorgeous looking. And the best part is there's no input lag. It's probably the smoothest I've felt this game since playing it on the NES Classic. Anyway, there's a lot of future business I gotta take care of. But hey, in November, you're gonna meet some twins. Not worth it. See you. Hopefully, people don't get tricked into buying this instead.
Yeah.
Like, people might be like, oh, I want to play Super Mario Bros. Because that's like one of the most downloaded games ever.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. But people might be like, oh, I need to download Super Mario Bros. What? It's $7 or however much this is? Fine, I guess I'll pay it. And then they'll get this garbage version. And it's going to be buggy and stupid because this game sucks. And it's very unfortunate.
I mean, have they patched it recently? Have you tried going back to see if it's...
I downloaded it when it came out and I was pissed.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a lot of crap.
Yeah.
But I'm very picky because this is my favorite game of all time,
Right.
you know? Like, that's why I'm giving it so much crap. That's why I was looking at it on such a hard lens.
Yeah.
So, you might download it and be like, this is fine, it feels like the same game. But I was really pissed.
Yeah.
And that little like half a second of input lag, like just murders the game for me. Like, why even release it?
Yeah.
And how hard could it be? I've never played a Mario game in my life with input lag.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is inexcusable that they couldn't port this game properly or emulate it properly. I mean, the fact that Nintendo didn't do it themselves is, like, baffling to me.
The fact that Nintendo would be like, yeah, fine, you can just release it, it's fine.
I feel like if Nintendo did it themselves and it was a faithful emulation or a faithful port, would you say then it would be okay? Would you recommend it then?
Only if... I wouldn't be as mad.
Yeah.
I would only recommend it if it came out after or with the actual Super Mario Brothers. Because versus Super Mario Brothers is a mean trick to people who don't know any better.
Yeah.
They're gonna think it's something completely different.
Because I think one of the cool things about versus Super Mario Brothers is that because it's the same game but like a lot harder, it's good for people like us who know the original game so well. And it's like a new take on it. It's a new, like, you know, it's a new challenge, keeps your mind like fresh and like running through it. You know, it's a good fresh take on it. but at the same time, that this is currently the only version of classic Super Mario Brothers available on the Switch. The fact that it's a bad transfer job, the fact that they're like we like Switch Online still doesn't have a release date, so we don't know when we're getting the original one.
Yeah.
That's bad.
It is kind of funny to play, to experience those very small changes that make the game harder. Because you're like, whoa, I didn't expect that to happen. Or there's a very noticeable one where there's, I think it's in 4-1 when you're running and the Lakitu's throwing the spike
4-1,
things down. And you're just booking it because you don't want to get hit by Lakitu.
Yeah.
And there's in the original version, there's the coin arcs that show you how to jump over all of the pits. And in versus Super Mario Brothers, there's one coin arc that goes into a pit.
Yeah.
So like you gather the coins, and then you gather the coins. You're like, whoa!
Yeah.
And you like barely miss it, or you jump right into the pit. So it is a mean trick to play on people.
Yeah.
But when you're at the arcade, it's a fun game to play because if you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
For the mainstream audiences, I think it's a trick, and they're getting a very crappy version of Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
So if you want to play Super Mario Brothers on your Nintendo Switch, wait until Switch Online and just get the subscription and download regular old Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Because that is the best version of, we haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
Regular old Super Mario Brothers is what you want.
Yes.
This is, again, the worst version of the original Super Mario Bros. But this is a conversation. What do you guys think about versus Arcade Archives versus Super Mario Brothers?
Have you played it? Do you agree that it is the worst version of the game? Let us know down below or anywhere on the internet.
Thank you guys for watching this episode of The Backlog. I almost threw up because I had a lot of pizza just now. Make sure you subscribe to see more episodes of The Backlog. We will see you guys later. Goodbye. Bye.